You're going to say, oh, I really don't like you guys. But that's not the truth at all. I want you to know that I think that a big part of our life experience is being in integrity with ourselves. And so for me, leaving was about me being in integrity with who I am. It had nothing to do with this community, which is why I can honestly say that I really did miss you. That I really did miss being here and miss the experience and miss all the familiar faces. And because this really, honestly, was one of the best 7 years of ministry, period, by far, that I had in ministry. So you need to know that. You need to know that you made a difference in my life. You know. And now my next fortuitous accident is sitting right here, which is Carrie. And I have to tell you about Carrie. I met Carrie in the first Sunday of August in 1980. We started the Unity Church in North Idaho, and I was the chair of the steering committee. I was also the platform assistant. And so our first Sunday service, we did the service, and after the service, Carrie walked up to me, and she said, I'm Carrie, and do you need some help with music? And I think what she's really saying is that you need some help with music. But she's so nice about it that she said, and I'm willing to volunteer to help out with music. And so she did. I said, okay, that's great. You know how you are, you're kind of in that space. And so she was the music director there for the next 8 years. And 2 years later, I had left to go to ministerial school, and Carrie was a hypnotherapist at that time, and she was, we became church friends, And church friends are friends who share, I think, a common spiritual sort of connection, if you will, that, we have the ability to talk about these kinds of things, and so, those are meaningful friendships. And she helped me kind of let go of some things as I moved on to ministerial school, because I had really never lived any place other than that area my whole life. And so there was some letting go I had to do in order to move on to Kansas City and on into ministry at that time. And so I really didn't see Carrie but twice, I think, briefly over the next 28 years. And so I was back, I was in Coeur d'Alene at the lake home, and it was one of those evenings, and I was kind of feeling sorry for myself, and you know how we get, and so all of a sudden her name popped into my mind, and I thought, Carrie, yeah, and so I looked in the phone book, and she wasn't in the phone book. I went on Google. I couldn't find her on Google, so I thought, well, she must be married off, living someplace in Timbuktu. Who knows? And so, but I stopped for a moment and I said, Carrie, if you're around, would you show up? One of those statements, right? I just sort of said it in the universe, and then I let go of it. I completely forgot about it. And 2 months later, I was speaking at the Unity Church in North Idaho. And after the service, I'm walking down the aisle. Guess who stands up? And my first thought was, oh, there you are. And she'd changed her last name. Actually, she was using her middle name as her last name. And that's why she didn't show up in any of the stuff. And Carrie's lived in Coeur d'Alene for 30 years. She has 6 grandchildren, ages 9 or 8 to 1, which is a interesting story in and of itself when I'm visiting her. So, but she's a fortuitous accident in my life. She's one of those divine appointments that showed up, and it was one of those times when all of a sudden I'm here and she's here, and it's the moment, right? And we became friends again, and then we became more than friends, and now we're more than friends. And she's here today, and I told her, I said, you're the first person I brought to church on Sunday morning that I'm in relationship with. First time, this group. And so I want to introduce her. This is my girlfriend, Carrie Joyce. And I'm very happy to have her here today. And in 1983, I came back to Coeur d'Alene, and I spoke between school years in ministerial school, and Carrie sang, and that's the last time that we've done this together. And so it's very meaningful to me to be here, and it's even more meaningful that it's with people who I love. It's with my family, with my community, with my friends. So I want to wish each one of you a happy Father's Day. Is Tiffany here? Yeah. Did she show up? There's my daughter, Tiffany, and my granddaughter, Harmony, in the back. And she came today. I didn't see you there. And yeah, I want to close with a poem. I think that's enough of my dribbling on with my story. My poem's called The Journey. There is a path that we all are on. With twists and turns we descend and climb. We laugh and cry and sing our song. We never can know for sure. We try and try to figure it out. And we think we have found the cure. But the journey isn't about knowing. As hard as we try to know for sure, we always reap the seeds we are sowing. It is the accidents that continually occur when we least expect them in our quest to be safe. It is our ability to see them through a heart that is pure. We are beings in progress on a journey together, not separate from each other, not alone on this path, but true and sure we know God is our tether. So pay attention to the moments you least expect, for they are rich and full, opportunities of good, and it is then you will know that your path is correct. God bless you. Your eyes and just begin that incredible, powerful, wonderful, dynamic journey inward into the awareness of this one presence and power that we know of as God the Good. Omnipotence. Everywhere present. All power, all joy, all love, all good. And we know that presence is within us always, every moment of every day, no matter what the circumstances of our life, that presence of God is right there with us, waiting for us to call it forth into being, waiting for us to simply say, "Here I am." For as we begin to see the experiences of our life through the eyes of God, through the eyes of the divine, through the eyes of love, all the experiences of our life become joyous stepping stones of an adventure that is unfolding of good. For if it is part of God's universe, it can be nothing but good. And so we resonate in a very powerful way with that divine idea. And I invite you in this moment just to think about experiences in your life that have shown up unexpectedly, accidents, fortuitous accidents, that in the moment didn't seem that way, but when you look back on them, you tell the story of how this occurred and how it led you to this next experience and how it opened the door to a greater good in your life. And as we see these moments from this place, then we can experience the next moment when it happens and see the good in that moment and call it forth into being. I also invite you to take a moment today to think about people in your life that you would like to send a blessing to. People who you would like to include in your heart, in your prayers, in your life experience. For we know that we are powerful spiritual beings, and that our consciousness that has been created as a result of this knowingness is sending forth streams of divine light and love and healing energy to each person in our life.